Hey, what's up guys? You already know the drill. Another day, another motor. So we got here is a 2000 Nissan 15 horsepower 4-stroke. I just picked this up, got a killer deal on it. And you know, it's a little dirty on the outside, but honestly, the decals and the paint look really good for being, you know, like almost a 25-year-old motor. So I think this one will clean up really nice. The cool thing too is it's even got electric start. You know, it is pretty heavy, and these older kind of first generation 4-strokes are pretty heavy motors, and with electric start it's probably like well over 100 pounds, but you know, they're solid motors. All right, so for this motor, I normally, if I was buying a motor like running or spending a lot of money, I'd do a compression test and a spark test, confirm a bunch of stuff. But this motor I already got for so cheap that basically just bought it like sight unseen. You know, I do a few tests on it. You know, it's in neutral right now. I'll make sure it spins freely. Now it's in forward. Now the prop's locked. You know, make sure that the throttle works. I'm twisting the throttle. All the linkages are working. You know, I'll check the oil. You know, it's got a little bit of oil. It's a little brown, but at least it's got some oil. You know, the carburetor on the outside is pretty nasty, but you know, that's something that is not too bad of a fix. What else? Yeah, it's got an oil filter on here. It's got electric start. Yeah, I didn't even check for compression or spark yet, but at the guy's house I did pull it over. You know, I did pull over, it's not locked up. It feels like it's got compression. But yeah, let's throw a compression gauge on and see what the compression is. Yeah, it does have electric start, but I'm just gonna pull it over a handful of times, see what the compression is on the top cylinder. Top cylinder is about 100. Bottom cylinder is also about like 95, 100. I'm gonna do a spark test on the top cylinder here. Hopefully you guys can see, but it's getting spark. Let's see this bottom cylinder. We're getting spark. Yep, kind of faint, but it's getting spark. Okay, so the story I got on this motor is that this guy owned a junk removal business, and a customer just had this motor lying around and threw in this motor for the work he did for him. And he mentioned that the motor needed new seals. He didn't know what that meant. The old guy that he bought it from just told him it needed new seals, so that could kind of mean anything. I'm kind of leaning toward the lower unit, meaning maybe it was leaking a little oil, but we will find out. Because this motor's been sitting a while, I'm gonna throw some PB Blaster down the spark plug holes just to lubricate those pistons. So yeah, I mean, a motor really only needs 3 things: compression, spark, and fuel. So it's got compression, it's got spark, so that really just leaves this nasty looking carburetor. You know, I would fire it up, but I can already tell just from the outside and just from the guy's story, it most likely needs a clean. So let's take this carb off. So I got the carburetor off here. I already took the 4 screws that were holding this bowl on, and it is kind of stuck. There we go. Oh yeah, as I suspected, it's pretty dirty. Oh yeah, you can see just on the rim, all that stuff, some stuff in here. So yeah, let's give this a clean, put this back together. Gonna clean these jets here. You know, make sure you get the right size flathead. Yeah, these jets are super tiny, so they want to make sure these are all clear. I'm gonna clean this other jet. Looks pretty clean already. You can see through it. Clean the hole. Actually, if you turn it on its side here, you can see in there, you can actually pop that out. So now you can really clean all these little holes in there. Make sure you can see through there. See that cap on here too, just full of stuff. gonna clean her up here with a little soap and water. She's just dirty on the outside, but she's gonna clean up really nice. Alright, so my GoPro died and I forgot to show some stuff that I did, so let me fill you in on everything I've done. So I took the carb off again because the float was sticking. I was pumping the primer bulb, but it was already fully hard, so that float was all the way in the maximum open position, so I had to adjust the float height. So now that's fixed. I think I found what the guy was saying when he said there was a seal that was needing adjustment. So down in here where I have this hose clamp now, you know, there is a little plastic fitting that was leaking a bunch of oil, and so you can see it ripped off, but underneath the fitting was just a like brass nozzle. So this plastic piece went over this brass nozzle, and so basically what I did was I just added a fuel line, put a clamp on there. You know, I couldn't find a fuel line fitting. I'm gonna go get one, but just for now I just have a fuel filter connecting the line that it was originally connected to because it was too short. I got the electric start to work. So this fuse holder, this has happened a few times with electric start motors where the fuse holder just over time gets expanded and the fuse isn't making contact. So I just put a little bit of tin foil actually, just to create that, just to get that contact going. And so it wasn't peeing water too, so I took off this plastic fitting. I pulled off the fuel line, or the hose line here, and water was coming out of here, so there was some blockage in here that I was able to clear, and cleared the plastic fitting. Doing an oil change on this Nissan 15 horsepower. I usually like to just get a piece of cardboard. In this case, I just took a piece of a paper towel roll and just jab that up in there just so it drains a lot easier. So yeah, I'm gonna put a new oil filter and put some fresh oil in it. This can get a little messy, so I just shoved a rag underneath the filter here. It's this one's kind of in an awkward spot, so let's see if I can get enough force on this. There we go. It's moving. Glad they just did it hand tight. Whoever did this before. Okay, not too bad. Not leaking all that much, thankfully. Alright, got a new filter. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this old oil here, put that on the rim, just to help it get a nice seal. Just do it hand tight. There we go. And then I like to write the date that it was installed. Well, yeah, I checked the dipstick. You know, I knew it was low on it. I even added a little bit of oil, but only about like, you know, half a quart came out when it's supposed to have like a full quart. So I'm glad I'm doing an oil change. I'm gonna give it a quart of oil, 10W30. Okay, so here's where I'm at with this Nissan. So it'll pump water with the earmuffs, but when I put it in a bucket, it won't pump water. You know, I've already cleaned out the water lines, cleaned up the thermostat, so really the last thing is the impeller needs changing. You may have a fin or two broken off. So to do that, there's this little linkage up in here. There's these little pins that you have to push out, so I'm just gonna remove the top pin right here, and then remove the 4 bolts, 4 nuts here actually that are attached on the lower unit, and drop this lower unit. Tap this through with a little hammer punch. It's coming out the other side. Don't want to lose that drift key. Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad I checked, because just like I thought, this thing is destroyed. All the fins are melted. Holy shit, that's not good. It's like melted to the housing. Ooh, that's pretty bad. That's really bad. Oh, there it goes. Oh yeah, like all these fins. I'm missing some chunks there. Some chunks there. They're like ready to just all break off. And a little meltage. This housing. So here's the old one compared to the new one. You can really see on the sides here, they're getting chipped away. There was some stuff in the housing that was caked on that I cleaned up and I think was chipping away at this impeller. So let's put the new one in. It should pump better water. Yeah, this water stream is like 10 times stronger than before. It's splashing the shit out of the ground. So yeah, this new impeller pumping a lot better water. Out here on the river doing a little fishing, testing this Nissan 15 horsepower 4-stroke. You know, so far I put a new impeller, pumping great water. Changed the oil, new oil filter, cleaned the carb. You know, it's been running over an hour, it's running great. Got up to 25 miles an hour going downriver. You know, it's clean, quiet, idle's nice. So these are good little motors made by Mercury, Hatsu, Nissan. They're all like the same exact motor. It's 15 horsepower.